So what's up, good people? We back today with another episode of Mad Rich Fishing. Today we gonna talk about the top 5 baits for April. Now, most people know that on your different things that you fish on and your different fisheries that you fish in, that everybody's baits can be different. Some people use more traditional baits such as worms or Texas rig things and that type of nature, crawls, all this type of thing. Because at this point in time, in the area you're fishing in, most fish are either pre-spawning, spawning, and in some extreme cases they are post-spawning. Now here in my local area, we've been hit with a whole bunch more rainfall than we've ever had in a very long time. So for the most part, the temperatures have been really high. However, the rain is coming down has made it cause the water levels to drop really low. So we're talking somewhere between water levels that went up from anywhere from a foot to a foot and a half, and in some places 2 feet. We've had tornadoes, lightning storms, all these kind of things just this week alone. So with that and being in mind, a lot of the rainwater that we've gotten that's come down has been absolutely cold. It would mix of hail in it and things of that nature. So all of that has now caused a lot of the water temperatures to drastically drop back down to, you know, mid to low 40s, anywhere between high 30s. So a lot of the water temperatures have went a little away from where they were, because just last week water temperatures were somewhere between, I want to say 45 to about 55, which you saw a lot of bass moving up shallow, getting ready to spawn, that type of thing. Saw a lot of bass caught on beds. Just last week I caught probably a good, in like the 3 or 4 days I fished last week, I caught probably a good 20 fish in that time frame, all up next to the bank. Big ones too, from 2-pounders to 3-pounders to 4. Caught a 4.5, almost 5 that you saw in my last video. Just all these fish are moving up shallow. Well, now that the water temperatures have went down a little bit, there's a possibility that's caused them to go into shock and they've moved back out away from the banks. However, at the same time, with all the increase in water levels, they may actually move up closer. So in today's video, I'm gonna go over my top 5 baits I use in April with an added bonus bait at the end. So to get this started, we're gonna go with the one that pretty much everybody uses at this time. And there's very different variations of how you can use this bait. It's super versatile, and that is your standard trick worm. Now, you can do trick worms, you can do stick worms, you can do pretty much any kind of soft plastic right about now. Now, there's 2 colors that I live by. Well, actually, there's 3. Let me rephrase it. There's 3 colors I live by when it comes to trick worms. And there's 3 different ways I like to rig this, which my 3 favorite colors, because I don't have one right now. This one is green pumpkin blue. Love a green pumpkin. Adding that blue into it, especially in that muddier water, that blue really stands out. With all the rise in water levels, a lot of the waters in some of the places that I fish here, it's going to be, so a lot of the waters that I fish are going to very much so be to the degree of to where they are darker or dirtier water. That is because a lot of the water has gotten stained and things of that nature. So with that being the case, anything that's a green pumpkin, black and blue, or have a blue color in it, it will definitely catch you fish. My third or second favorite color is, this is number 3, the green pumpkin blue. So number 2 on that list is my buddy Will the Real's favorite color. He loves this color. This is his go-to for any kind of Zoom trick worm. That is red bug. Now, take it from me, because I guarantee you he gonna get in the comments and say something about it. He has caught more fish using this color than I've ever seen anyone fish any other color. Even myself with my absolute favorite color, which I don't have right now to show you, but I'll tell you what it is after this. Me and him and my other fishing buddy D-Lo had a fishing tournament last year for about maybe 3 hours at one of our local fisheries we love to fish at. This man only used this red bugworm. That man caught, probably, I know in that day, in that 3 hour period, I think he caught 10 fish to my 2, and I think D-Lo caught 1. And he only used 1 red bugworm. So when I say this worm here catches fish, it catches fish. Now, my favorite go-to color, unbelievably or not, is bubblegum. It's very pink, super pink. Love that one. I've actually started also falling in love with another color that's not made by Zoom. It's made by, I forget who it's made by now, but it is I think it's called Dirty Sand or something like that. But it is a pinkish red with a hint of purple. It's half and half, but it looks like your traditional night crawler. This past week, I've been fishing that particular color, and every fish I've caught this past week has been caught with that worm. So it's becoming very popular to me, so I'm gonna probably keep using it for a little bit here. Now, when we talk about fishing trick worms, there's several ways you can rig it. You can do it wacky rig. And if you do it wacky rig, what I recommend, instead of going midway point, you go a little offset with it so that it's a little longer here on one end. And wiggle, and when you pop it, throw it, it gives it sort of what we call the floating worm technique. And with the floating worm, you just basically throw this out, extremely light tackle. So I would say anywhere from 8 to 10 pound test line. Throw this out. You let it sink no more than 5 seconds at the most. And then you give it 3 pops. So 1, 2, 3. Sink again, 1, 2, 3. Throw this up shallow. Throw this out deep. No matter where you throw it at, if they're bass in the area, they can't help but to hit it. Another way I like to rig this, which is my absolute favorite and my go-to when I use a trick worm, that is on a shaky head. I don't know what it is about these worms that shaky heads, but it is by far the best technique. My buddy Will taught me that technique over a year ago, and it has been one of my staple go-to techniques that I have used. And when I say a shaky head with a Zoom trick worm will catch fish all year round, I'm telling you, it will catch fish all year round. So that is my number 1 bait for April. Now, moving away from the traditional worms and all that good stuff, we're gonna move into a couple of things that are moving baits. So the worms is for if you want to slow it down a little bit. With that being the case, moving away from the worms, we're gonna move into when they're really trying to get on bed and they're feeding up. Number 2 is a glide bait. So there's several different glide baits to use. You have the Nessie, you have the Flow Glide, you have the Trace by 6 Sense. That's another good one. Pretty much any kind of glide bait, big profile, especially a big shad profile, they are going to crush it. You throw this up, for the most part, you try to throw it parallel with the bank, keep it a little off the bank a little bit. There's several ways to retrieve it. One of the main ones I like to use is I go with a steady retrieve for about maybe 3 handle turns, and then I pause and I pop once. Makes that bait really just S move real quick. And usually when I do that S move, that's when they attack. So number 2 is a glide bait. Moving on to number 3, going back on the moving side of things, it is a go-to all year round, a lipless crankbait. Now, that's any variation of a lipless. It's not just, standard lipless crankbait. That could be a blade bait. That could be a vibrating blade. That could be, a 6 Sense blade bait. That could be a War Pig. That could be a Red Eye Shad. That could be pretty much any single one of those lipless crankbaits ideas. I like the Booyah One Knock or the Booyah Hard Knock. And the reason I like it is because if you listen, it has one very big BB. Now, there's another one that I like that's made by 6 Sense, which is a silent lipless crankbait. Has no BBs in it, no nothing. It's real silent. And when I say that thing catches them, it catches them. They don't expect it. You rip it through grass, come right up out of it. You can also steady retrieve if that's your thing. But me, myself, I throw it out there, let it sink a little, and I rip straight up. Straight up rip it, let it vibrate, pause it, let it sink back down, rip it again. Same thing, rip it again. Now, if I'm throwing parallel to the bank and I'm fishing this shallow, yes, of course, I will just steady retrieve it. Every so often throwing a twitch in every once in a while to make the thing rattle differently. Because as you're going, if you're getting close to their beds and they hear it change the vibration or it speeds up or whatever the case may be, just that subtle pause or that subtle motion will cause them to attack. So, number 3, lipless crankbait. Moving on to number 4. Now, number 4 is a highly controversial one, but I have caught fish at the month of April on this particular bait. It's not the actual one that I caught them on, but it's a variation of it that I'm going to start trying because I did some reviews on it and I like it, so I'm going to start using it and see how it works out for me. And that is a topwater. And one of my favorite topwaters are either El Chapos, and now it is the Scramble made by 6 Sense, which is the Scramble 106. This thing looks amazing, and it has a rattle. So I've not tried this yet. I am going to tie this on this week, and if I do get out with in between the rain and everything else, I am definitely going to try this bait out. So hopefully I can get some footage and get some catches on it, and that way I can show you guys exactly what this thing is about. But I love the fact that it is a prop bait and it has that very, very hard rattle in it. That is going to be amazing. I cannot wait. And yes, those hooks are very sticky because they just grabbed me. But any kind of prop style bait is good at this time of the year, especially if you're throwing parallel to the bank. You retrieve it in, even if you're not throwing parallel to the bank, even if you're out in some of these wide open areas, some of these rivers, things of that nature. Number one, the water levels are going to be, especially if you're fishing anywhere towards the south right now in the Midwest, water levels are going to be astronomically higher than they have ever been in a long time due to all this rain and weather and everything. So by all means, keep that in mind. So know that some of the places that you may have been before, their water levels are higher. So there are definitely the possibility that you're going to have more structure than you are used to seeing, or you may not know that there's structure there because the water levels have risen so much. So y'all be careful out there. Keep that in mind. But yes, top water bait should be something that should be great this time of the year, this time of the month, because as I said, as they're moving up closer towards the bank, you throw this parallel to the bank, slowly retrieve it, giving it subtle pauses, giving it subtle rips. If they're near the bank and you get over that bed, they're coming. So just be ready to hold on and be ready to go. Which moves us to our last bait number 5. Bait number 5 is a sort of a 2-in-1 bait. And when I say 2-in-1 bait, it's because there are several ways that I rig this bait. I'm only going to give you 2 of the ways I rig it. I will not give you my absolute favorite way of rigging it just yet. You guys give me a couple comments. I will tell you my absolute best way of rigging one of these baits. And trust when I say it, I call it my own rig. Call it the Mad Dangerous rig. That's what I call it. If you know me, you fish with me, you'll know what rig I'm talking about. But my absolute favorite, second favorite baits in the world throw. My number 1 favorite is a blade bait. I hate to say it, it just is. I love it. Second favorite bait is a swim bait. And I throw 2 different types. Now, one of these I am trying for the first time because I got some reviews from these guys about this, which is, this is Biz Baits. I bought a couple of their small company out of North Carolina. I bought some of their top water baits. They have, what is it called? It is called not the Whopper Plopper, not the, they make a spy bait, they make buzz bait. They're called Biz Bait, and Biz Bait has one of the absolute best buzz baits I've ever thrown. Their buzz baits they have 2 types. There's one that's a dual prop that has 2 independent props that have a ball BB that's on the blade that actually causes it to rotate the blade. And when I say that thing clacks so loud, it is clacking. And if you know anything about the old school method of trying to get your buzz bait to get in tune, don't have to worry about it with this. All you gotta do is make 1 cast and burn it back to you. It will be in tune instantly. It is a great bait. So I noticed that they had now started making swim baits. So I decided I'm gonna give them a try. And I will say this much, these absolutely look really good. This is the Swimmer. It is called the Swimming Miner. It's salted and it's scented, and the scent is garlic. It actually smells like garlic on it, which is even better. That's going to be something different to try out. So that's cool. But these are the 4 inches and they're fat. Looks perfect. Now, my favorite go-to, which these actually might become my new go-tos if this works out the way I want it to. But my go-to, because I can get them locally and I don't have to order them from Tiger Warehouse and wait for them to come in, is the Rapala Crust Cities, the Mayors. These little jokers here, ever since Rapala came out with these, I've been throwing these, and I love these. These are also scent infused. So this is Gizzard Shad. It's a 4-inch. Perfect design. So when I say my number 5 bait is a combination of two things, I'm going to give one shout out to a friend of mine who was a brother in fishing, and go over two types of ways I like to throw this. As I said, I will not give you my personal favorite way of throwing those, but I'll show you my two favorites. Number one is one of my go-tos, and that is a good old-fashioned underspin. Now, this is the Strike King Tour underspin. Love this because it has a little piece of line that's attached to it with a little willow blade on it. You can use pretty much anybody's underspin. This one has the 2 hook keepers, so that bait, once it's on there, trust and believe, it's going to be very hard to get it off. But I love these. So this is one. And the other way that I love rigging this, which, as I said, I was going to give a shout out to my brother on this, is what I like to call the Marcus Terry rig. Now, if you know, you follow some of the people locally on the Fish Brain or on Facebook or things of that nature, there is a guy that goes around here that fishes here in Memphis. He's local in Memphis, and he fishes all over the place. And his name is Marcus Terry. And the reason I call it is the Marcus Terry rig is because this guy fishes this rig in his fashion more than anybody else I know. And that is with just your run-of-the-mill standard swim bait head. And he does it everywhere. And because he does it, I call his way of doing this rig the Marcus Terry rig. So if you're on Facebook or whatever, look him up. He's a cool friend of mine. He made me a couple baits one time. Actually, he makes some really good baits, so by all means, go support him. Get some of his baits that he makes. He makes some really good baits. I got 2 glide baits that I bought from him, and he's working on 2 more for me right now. But this is what I like to call the Marcus Terry rig. And this thing fits perfectly on this Demiki. And that there is the Marcus Terry rig. Now, the reason I like this way of doing it too is because you can fish this pretty much anywhere. And I mean, when I say anywhere, you can fish it anywhere. Now, this head, you can use any head you want to. I am actually using the Demiki rig jig head, and this thing is amazing. It has a little couple of keepers on it, has a little grooved in area for where it slides up perfectly on it, so you don't have to worry about your bait rolling left or right as you're fishing it. So that's pretty cool. That is really cool. So that's one of the go-to baits I use this time of year, because I can throw this parallel to the bank too, and I can slowly retrieve this and bring this in front of those bass that are already bedding up or trying to bed up. And when I do so, they kill it every single time. And all you gotta do is hook right into it, and that's it. So those are my 5 baits for the month of April. So get out there, guys. See you guys fishing. Get out there, do your thing, and definitely catch some bass. Really.